Hey, good day, good day, good day. It's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. How are you doing today? Hey, listen, we got a question for you. Today's question is very easy for us to get into because we're going to be talking about, are you living your life from the inside out? Are you living it from the inside out? Because it's more important for you to be living from the inside out than from the outside in. And we're going to be talking to you about asking yourself the very one question. Is life is a question, right? The question is, how are you living it? Because once we start to figure it out, maybe the answer has been in front of you from the very beginning. So this episode, we're going to dive into these questions, and we're going to be asking whether you're walking out your daily life and figuring out as you do your walk, is it reflecting your wisdom or is it legacy driven? We want to know. And I'm going to urge you to think about it differently, to walk wisely and make the most out of every opportunity that you can. So we're going to break that down today on the inside. This is when the lights go out. Are you ready? Thank you for joining us, and I'm going to see you on the inside. Hey, good day, everyone. I'm Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. How are you today? Thank you for joining us. We're talking about making sure that we are living our best life. Today, we're going to be talking about, I really want you to dive in really quickly from the very beginning, because today's journey is going to be a little bit deeper than normal, because life is a question. How we live it is our answer. And that's the thing. If life is the question and how we're living it is the answer, we got to stop and ask ourselves a couple of questions. Is it really, our lives really reflecting the life that we really want to lead? Whether they're, a daily walk in reflection, are we really thinking about how we are walking through life? Are we getting wiser, or are we just not thinking about it at all? So I want you to look carefully at how you walk. We must be very, very intentional. We must be very intentional. Your habits are your legacy. They're your legacy. Not as an unwise, we shouldn't be unwise as we're walking around. But walk with wisdom. You got to start thinking about rejection of distractions and embrace these discernments, right? So we're going to have this conversation about how we make the best out of the time we have left, because this is what millionaires and billionaires do. Millionaires don't manage time, they invest it. And we're going to talk about how you can do the same thing. And I'm going to empower you to do that. But first, thank you guys for joining us. This is when the lights go out. Are you ready? And, we have conversations about what millionaires and billionaires do and helping you get to where you want to go, right? It's the law of reciprocity, folks. In order for us to get to where we want to go, we got to desire that you get what you need. And then you can make an impact in the community that you serve every single day, right? And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Welcome back to the show. And let's talk about it. It's a hot moment. It's the hot moments. See, I want to discuss the millionaire mirror for just a quick second before I just dive into all the things you want to do. I need you to ask yourself, what is your life asking you? What is your life asking you? Because every legacy begins with a question. Millionaires ask, what problems am I solving? What legacy am I building? See, this is a little bit different of a question because, see, I want to invite you, the listeners, to reflect just a moment. What question is your life asking you? And I need you to ask yourself another question. Am I answering the question with clarity, with courage, and consistency? Boy, that's a deep one. Am I answering the question with clarity, with courage, and consistency? That's today's topic today. That's today's topic. Because once we start to really think about that, a lot of reflection is going to happen over the course of this 1 hour episode. And then we're going to start thinking about time. Time is the currency of legacy. And here at Lifestyle Focused Wealth, we talk about legacy all the time. But once you start to figure out that time is the currency for your legacy. See, billionaires don't chase time. They buy it back. And they buy it back through delegation, automation, and alignment. So we're going to share with you how our Lifestyle Focused Wealth system helps people like you redeem your time through AI, through onboarding flows, through intentional living, through managing your money, through getting coaching, because that's what millionaires and billionaires do. They buy back their time. And the third, today's topic is really a deep one, as I told you for just a moment ago. Are you living from the inside outward? Because the habits that you build your legacy on, you don't want to build it in the dark. It probably doesn't make sense to build it in the dark. Because when the lights go out, emotionally, financially, and spiritually, what remains? So we're going to talk about some teachable points today, and I'm going to teach you 10 habits that's within our Lifestyle Focused Wealth checklist that I'm going to provide at the end of our program that millionaires and billionaires use to build legacies before the spotlight hits. You know, when no one's looking. Yes, these are hot topics for today. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. I want to get you thinking very early today. It is Lifestyle Focus Friday, and we're always happy. We're always happy to have you guys back. We are absolutely happy. But today we want you to be intentional about why you should be feeling that emotion. It is Friday. It's payday. Financially, why am I feeling so happy? And this weekend, what do I have planned with my family, friends, and associates? And so spiritually, am I connected? I want you to think about what remains. What really remains? And we're going to unlock the truth today. We're going to unlock the truth. So welcome back to When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? That is where our focus is going to be today. So I want you to go ahead and start getting your fingers ready to start commenting, because I want to know as you make a comment, do me a favor. Always put the words takeaways before your comments, because we want to know what you're taking away from the podcast today. And what lessons you learned. I want you to be interactive with us and put it in the comments, put it in the chat, and let me know what's resonating with you today. And your cost of admission today, as usual, do me a favor. Smash the like button, smash the share button, subscribe button right below. If you're watching us on YouTube Live, go ahead and hit that button, because your participation helps our podcast. It helps us. And we need all the help we can get. So hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all the stuff that we do. Whenever we bring out a new podcast or whenever we bring out new content, we want you to be involved. We want you to be here. And at the end of our discussion today, don't forget to sign up for our bi-weekly newsletter. It's filled with a whole bunch of great information, recipes, travel, and much, much more. It's absolutely free to you. It's a freebie. And I'm going to go ahead and invite you guys to join our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. And I'm telling you, you really want to be on the inside because all we need is on the inside. It's only $16 a month, and you can get to learn much, much more when you pay your annual subscription. It's the least expensive way to get in contact with people that are already sharing your mindset. Why am I sharing that with you? Because we got some evaluation questions that we need to be asking ourselves. We really do. We need to be asking ourselves some of these questions. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit here and go ahead and get right into it. I need you to answer some self-evaluating questions before we get started. And I'm going to pose them to you at the beginning. That way you can be ready to answer them again at the end. Okay? And here the questions are. What question in your life, or better yet, let me ask that a different way. What question is my life asking right now? What's the question in my life? And what is my life asking right now? What question? And I need you to go ahead and put that in chat. What question in your life what's the question in your life right now? What is your life asking you to answer right now? And I also want to know, where am I walking wisely in my path every day? And where am I walking blindly? I think this is important because this is the framework of the detail. Because if we understand what we're doing wisely, we must understand what we're doing blindly. And let's see if we can make that blind spot go away. Here's the third one. If my time were to be audited today, if your time were to be audited today, would it reflect my values? You know, we tell people we love them. We tell people we care for them. Have you done your will? Have you done your trust? Are you living what you speak? This thing is important to us all. Are we living what we speak? And then the question is, what systems do I need to automate so I can elevate? This is what millionaires and billionaires think. They really do. They don't just do it with AI. They were doing it with themselves, with the human brain, with the human psyche. And once you start to think about that level of elevation, and you start to think about it every single day, you start to ask yourself those questions every single day, what's going to happen is you're defining a better part of you every single day just by asking the same question. Never mind what I did yesterday. Today, what question is in my life that I need to get an answer for right now? Number 2, am I walking wisely? And where am I walking blindly? Number 3, if today was my last day, if my time were to be audited today, would it reflect the way I live? Would it reflect my values, of what I stand for? And what's the legacy that I'm building? Am I building it in silence, or am I starting to live my inward thoughts outwardly? I'm giving you permission in this particular episode to start thinking about living what's inside of you outwardly. And then think about the systems that you're going to need to automate your life so you can elevate. I think that is a very strong opening statement for today. Man, I've had a wonderful, wonderful week. And where are these questions coming from? They're coming from just having that moment to yourself where you start to think, man, when the lights go out, are you ready? Are you really ready? Because I don't know that everybody out here is ready. And it's not my responsibility to make sure everybody's ready. It's my responsibility to make sure that I'm living my truth. And what I did yesterday, what I completed yesterday, only leaves room for me to continue building on the level of significance in my life. Are we making sense? Are we making sense? If you're a regular on our show, you know we normally start off a little slower, but we're gonna go jumping right into it today. If y'all don't mind, put that in the chat. Put that in the chat if you don't mind. We're just jumping right on into it today. Today is about the inside out, living inside out. It's the millionaire question that changes everything in your life, because your life is asking a question and you're answering it with your legacy or with a distraction. So when the lights go out, what remains? We just got to know what that is. Let's talk about these millionaire habits. Let's talk about some of this AI empowered wealth that's going to be generated in the next 6 to 12 months, not even 2 years. And then let's also talk about the clarity that we need, the spiritual clarity that helps us build empires in silence. Because when you start to really think about what we're talking, our discussion points today, it's not about who sees you getting ready. It's not about who sees you preparing. It's not about who sees you practicing. It's if you're going to practice on your own. I'm Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. Helping you out today. We're going to unpack these questions and asking what millionaires and billionaires do and how they answer it with legacy, not noise. And you have that same opportunity to do that, right? Because we're blending biblical principle and wisdom with AI-powered wealth systems in a storytelling way that can only elevate and activate your lifestyle-focused journey. And that's really what we're talking about. And I promise you, today's conversation, you're going to learn these things. You're going to learn, 10 habits that millionaires have that help them build a legacy in silence. I'm going to give it to you. You're going to learn how to redeem time like the billionaires do. And all we're doing is asking these questions. So if you're a millionaire, billionaire, and you know someone else that is one and you want me to talk to them, put it in a comment, send it in a chat. We'll reach out to them. We'll ask them, hey, how are you getting back this time? Share it with our listeners. Share it. The one thing that we can't do in life is we can't be afraid to ask. If we don't have the answer and we're not living it out, doesn't it make sense to go ahead and get straight to the punch? Doesn't it make sense to go ahead and ask someone that already has the answer? Because all we're trying to do is save you what? Time. If we could save time, imagine how grand life would be. If you could save time, you didn't have to put up with all the malarkey that's out there, right? We didn't have to deal with any of the stuff that's out there that doesn't really do us any good for our time. Let you marinate on that one just for a second. Because when you really start to think about all the things that we waste time on, it really doesn't make sense. As I open up the beginning of this question today, when the lights go out, what remains? What question is your life asking you right now? Because like I said, once again, millionaires don't chase answers. They're living them. They're the solution. They're not waiting on someone to figure it out. They provide the answers. See, one of those millionaire habits in the dark is being comfortable working when no one's watching you. Because these habits, they're going to help you build wealth. They're going to help you build wealth when no one is looking. They're going to help you build wealth when no one's looking. You know, one of my favorite basketball players, Kobe Bryant, it's always his legacy, even though he wasn't a perfect person. We're not going to say that at all. He wasn't a perfect person. But his legacy is about what? Hard work when nobody's watching. Discipline. Showing up. Living today. Not waiting on it. Living it. We talk about time, right? We talk about time, and we talk about time in a different way. A lot of times we're like, hey, you don't spend time this, and we don't spend time that. We got to do better time management. But when we start to talk to billionaires, they'll tell you that billionaires don't manage time. They're not managing time. They buy that time back. And how they do that? They find ways of having good time stewardship. They find ways of automation. That's why the most effective people in the world have gravitated and embraced it. And when I'm talking about embracing it, I'm talking about the world of AI. The most successful people are buying back the thing that they need the most is time. We're not trying to replace people, but you are trying to have more time. More time for the things that really matter. And that's really what our focus is today. That's really what it's all about. And once you really nail down and get to the truth of every piece of this, we start to figure out, oh, it's really not that hard. This is not going to be that difficult to have a conversation about today. It's not going to be that difficult. You know? So let me go back and ask you again, you know, when the lights go out, what remains inside of you? I'm still asking the question. I'm giving you time to answer. Put it in the chat. What remains inside of you? What feelings are coming up when I ask this question? When the lights go out, what remains inside of you? And what do you lean on when the applause fades? I need to know that. What habits still hold when no one's watching you? What are your habits? We're getting text messages and getting everything right now during the middle of the shows. But that's okay. It's live. Just checking. It's live. What are your habits? Do you still work out when no one's working? Do you do 2 sets? Do you do 2 reps when you really should be doing 10? When you're outside walking and you know you got to go 2 miles, do you quit after 1 because no one's watching? When you're at work and you're on the clock, do you really pass off time when you should be working? If you're an entrepreneur, when you tell people you work for yourselves, are you closing business between 9 and 5, or are you taking naps or hanging out? Is your internal structure strong enough to rebuild your external world? Because it takes faith to do that. It really does. If your internal structure is strong, whenever you fall down or you take a back seat or life hits you a little differently, you'll be able to rebuild. Your external world is in your control. You already know that. So what are the pain points that we're trying to solve with this statement? I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer, because I'm hoping that you go out and find it. I hope you go out and research it. But that's why you're joining our Lifestyle Focused Wealth programming, because we have the answers for you. Because if I want to dive right into it, I'm about to hit somebody the wrong way. So y'all bear with me. Put this in the comments, because I'm about to expose somebody's truth, and it might just be my own, but at least I can step into it. But one of the pain points that I think that was solved for me was the fear of losing external validation. Titles, income, relationships. Emotional instability when circumstances shift. That got solved when I started answering the questions of, hey, who am I? What do I do when no one else is watching? How do I get focused? How do I ground myself? Do I go out and drink and smoke and do all the things that may not be healthy for me when I need to rebuild my external world if I'm not feeling at my best? No, that's not what we do. We go back to the things the habits that still hold, those principles that still hold when no one's looking. Another thing that was solved for me is the lack of internal clarity. Some people would call that spiritual grounding. When you start living back based off the principles that you grew up on, and you start looking for the answers that's already inside of you, you start to figure out that maybe you're moving around a lot. Maybe you're busy being busy, but you're busy without clarity. And once you get clarity, a couple of things happen. An emotional promise starts to develop, because you're more than your performance. And that performance is how everybody sees you. Your peace, your habits, your legacy is all built in silence. That's why meditation is so powerful. Because when the worlds go dark, it's going to be your inner structure that will show you the way. It's the light. It's your principles. It's what you're built off of. It's that voice that you hear when you know you're not doing right. When you know you're not on the right track. Are y'all tracking with me today? I need to go back and say hello to everybody real quick. because I know I jumped right on into it. How's everybody doing today? Good deal. I see you guys. I'm throwing those nuggets out there today. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to give you guys some time to understand where we're coming from, because it's important. It's important. And I don't think we spend enough time. I don't think we spend enough time. And I want this hour that you are joining our team and our network, and just to take that moment in time to let's see if we can shift. How can this program elevate you? We're looking at it. That's all. It ain't that difficult. It really isn't that hard to. It really is not that hard to answer, but we are so busy with our day-to-day lives. The most simple things in our lives, we're not able to answer because we're busy. Your life is asking you a question. Are you answering it from the inside out or from the outside in? If your life is asking you the question, I think it's important for us to start thinking about, are your decisions driven by clarity or chaos? I think it's important for us to start figuring out, does your systems reflect your soul? Or does it just reflect your schedule? Are you doing the things that you really want to do with your time? Because if your legacy started today, would it be built on your truth or your performance? You know, my lights out moment, I realized that one of the most difficult things in the world to do was to write down an obituary for yourself. And you start to figure out that even though I have many accolades, the performance of my life wasn't as important. It wasn't. Versus today, where I start thinking about the significance of my life, of what I'm doing for other people. And in an interview that I had just a couple days ago, we were talking about success, and we're talking about successful versus significance. And in that conversation, it rings true that I am happier today than I ever was with my own personal accolades. Why? Because I'm doing so much more for other people. I get so much more joy out of watching my teammates win, learn something new, get paid in their own venture as an entrepreneur, come to us for coaching, and then they carry it out. And I'm able to provide some wisdom, not only to them, but to you, based off my own journey, right? But watching in real time these pain points go away, because we're solving you living reactively instead of intentionally. We're solving that problem. When you're feeling stuck, when cycles come around and you feel stuck, because there's cycles of distractions for everyone. And if you don't realize it's a cycle, you can burn out. No use in burning yourself out when you know it's a cycle. And in this cycle, there's a misalignment that's happening. It's a misalignment between your values and your daily choices. Have you ever just been around people and you start wondering, hey, that value doesn't match mine, so I'm going to leave? Your choice was to leave because the value didn't match yours. All right. Well, here's the emotional promise to that. I don't mind sharing this with you. The emotional promise to that is that your life has a sacred question. And you already know the answer. See, when you live from the inside out, clarity becomes your compass. You don't need too much more. The clarity becomes your compass. You don't need more noise. You need alignment. You need to be in alignment with what your true core values are. This is what millionaires and billionaires know. They're not trying to use a hammer or screw in a nail or whatever the case may be. They find what they're good at and they master it. They get in alignment with what their true value is. Is it to make money? Is it to help more people? What actually is it? And then you move with that. You don't wait for somebody to give you an answer. You don't have to. You already know the answer. It came with you. It was built inside of you. So our number 3 today is legacy isn't built outside in. It really isn't. It's scripted inside first. You got to ask yourself, hey, what's your internal onboarding flow? And I'm saying it like I'm talking to AI for a second, because when I'm talking to business owners about their onboarding flow, it's think about when you're going onto a job, how do you onboard somebody into that network, into that philosophy? Well, you got to start asking yourself about yourself. What's my internal onboarding flow? Is it healing or is it hustling? Because do your habits match your vision? Or are you sabotaging it? Are you really a professional on the inside, but you look like a recluse on the outside? Are you driving a very expensive vehicle, but on the inside, it's like a worthless trash can? Are you building wealth that outlives you? Or you're just making more income that exhausts you? These are some serious questions that we have to answer these questions, because once you start to go down these checklists, I promise you your life will change. Your life starts to change. It cannot not change. If you take every step that I'm saying right now, and we start really diving deep, and yes, it might be painful for the ones that understand that they got something, a pain point that needs to be solved. That's why we're touching on it. We're touching on it because the pain doesn't go away until you do something about it. See, building wealth without purpose or emotional resonance, why would you waste your time? I don't understand that. Why would you waste your time? There's no use in doing that. If you don't have a purpose and it doesn't resonate with you, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Because over-reliance on external systems without having internal conviction, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. You know, in the United States, just to bring some news up, if you're relying on public assistance right now, if you're relying on it, these are external systems that are being taken away all over the United States. People are terrified. But if you think about it, without having internal conviction, meaning I'm not going to let myself go hungry. I'll grab a lawnmower and cut grass. I'll pick up trash. I'll go help someone else succeed. That way I can succeed. I'll go give somebody else an opportunity. That way I can get an opportunity. The law of reciprocity happens. And I think once we start looking at it and thinking about it that way, a couple other pain points get solved. Because the lack of emotional intelligence in business and relationships is the one thing that gets solved. We have better relationships once we start to think about it that way. We have better business when we start to think about the people that we serve. And the emotional promise behind that is simply this: your legacy begins to be your personal truth, your walk around truth. It's not a tool. It's not a tool. It's your truth. So when your internal script is clear, once you understand what you're supposed to be doing and you're walking in that, your system, whether it be in business or in person, in your personal life, your system will follow. And you can build wealth. You can build wealth that feels good to you, it looks good, and it lasts. Most importantly, it lasts. How's that sound? Y'all talk to me in the comments. Am I giving you what you need today? Give me a thumbs up. If we're really diving into it, I'm really wanting you to be sure that you're asked the question and we really hold ourselves accountable. We hold our friends and family accountable, because when the lights go out, what remains? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Ladies and gentlemen, the lights are out for a lot of people, and they're running around panicked because they don't have an answer. But the truth is, they do have an answer. When you sit your son down, when you sit your daughter down, when you sit a discouraged friend down, maybe you got someone in your life that's going through something, and they will confide in you, and you understand these pain points that we're sharing with you today. And you can convince them to start looking internally. The emotional intelligence starts. So we're still talking about making sure that we understand where we are. Still want to make sure you understand that, okay? Because if we do that, we're always going to be ahead. Always going to be. And I think that's the most important piece is starting to hold ourselves accountable for things that really do matter. The spaces that we occupy, right? It's the spaces that we occupy. So once you know that, okay, we're in good shape. The promises are real. You can live in your truth. Your script is very clear. And you can build wealth that feels good to you, looks good to you, and it lasts forever. And I think that's extremely important. I think that's extremely important. Next one is millionaires automate the outside. They really do. They automate the outside so they can protect the inside. And if we're living a life of significance, we got to protect what's on the inside. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about what systems have you built to guard your peace? Are you buying back time or are you selling off your soul? See, that's in your personal life because you understand that, hey, I'm working 20 hours a week and a day. I don't have time for my family. I'm not there for dinner. What am I sacrificing? And in business, is your AI strategy serving your legacy? Or is it just a calendar? How is it helping you benefit? In other words, am I just using this as a tool to do a document, or am I using it as a tool to give me the framework to make millions? The blueprint to make millions? Am I asking it how I use it to free my time? Is it scheduling appointments? Is it taking care of plane tickets? Is it taking care of answering my phone calls? Is it, okay, those are to-do things, but also it can give you information that can empower you to have a system in place, a directive for every single day to complete your number one goal, the thing that's on the inside of you that you don't talk about externally. This is why the AI tool is so powerful, because it's used, like I said, to automate the outside stuff so you can protect the inside stuff. I don't know if y'all understand where I'm at today, because this conversation is deeper than just logic. See, the pain points that we're talking about is very simple. Ever heard of being time poverty? Time poverty and burnout from doing everything manually, doing everything yourself. There's no boundaries between your business or your personal peace. You're overwhelmed from scaling without a structure or trying to scale. I promise you this: you deserve systems. You deserve systems that protect your energy and multiply your impact. You deserve that. Because automation isn't just efficiency. It's emotional protection. It's one less thing that you have to think about. So you can scale your legacy without sacrificing your soul. That means I could get these things done that I don't have to be there to get them done. And you just start to think about things a little bit differently before we just jump out there and say things that really, truly don't make sense. See, your legacy starts with one internal answer. I just need you to stop and ask yourself, what's yours? It's got to be your answer. It can't be someone else's. Because once you start thinking about it, what truth are you avoiding that's costing you wealth? And when I say wealth, I mean doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, whenever you want. That to me is wealth. It's not cash. Cash is a tool that gives us the means to do it. Start asking what question keeps whispering in your head, but you keep ignoring it. If your daughter, your son, your team, or your future self were to ask you to stand for something, what would you say? Only you can answer the questions. If this is impactful for you, if it's been helpful for you, put this down in the comment. Put this down in the comment. Because I want to share with you these last few pain points. And I want you to continue to think about it as we return. Because we want our listeners, we want our viewers to really dive in and go to a deeper level. I think sometimes we're too afraid to go just below the surface. But when we start to figure it out, we go below the surface. That's the thing we need. We need to stop blocking the noise. We just need to create a solve for all of the noise. Hey, join our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. Membership starting at $16 a month when you pay the annual subscription. So register online today at www.lifestylefocusedwealth.com. Hey, you guys, man, I tell you, today's gone really fast. I'm Ronco Johnson, your Lifestyle Focused Wealth Coach. Like I said, today is one of those insightful days where we're really diving in and asking these questions of, are you living on the inside? Is your inside living outwardly? And how do you get there, right? That's really what we want to know today. But our fifth question of the day is very simple, and I want to give you some pain points and some solves for it. Because I asked you the question before our break, what truth are you avoiding that's costing you wealth? What's the thing in your head that keeps whispering, but you keep ignoring? And if people were to ask you to stand for something, what would that be? What would you say? Because the truth is, the pain point to all of these things is procrastination. And that procrastination is due to lack of clarity. Maybe you don't know exactly what it is you want to do yet. Maybe you haven't been able to nail it down yet. Maybe you're just having fears of making the wrong move or waiting for permission for external validation. These are the things that I know that came up when I started thinking about it for myself. But I promise you, if you start to jump in with the whole body and let your whole body get wet, not just your feet, don't get your feet wet, completely jump in and understand and trust the system, you'll start to find that you already have the answer. Your legacy doesn't start with strategy, it starts with your decision. And when you honor the truth, everything else will align. Everything else falls in place. And the things that are manifested, it's not luck. It's you that made the move. It's you that made the movement. And that's the greatest awakening. Is once you start to understand that, wait a minute, you control your destiny. You control what remains. It's you. So when we start thinking about building a legacy from within, start answering your life's deepest questions. But you answer it through habits, systems, and spiritual clarity. Hey, that's my time. I'm Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. Hopefully this information today was helpful to someone and it lands in a responsible way. And all we want to do is make sure that we can help you get where you want to go. And I hope that we've touched somebody. And I hope that you can take some of these principles and help someone else. Because guess what? We can't keep it for ourselves. We got to go out here and help someone else. All right? So do me a favor. Stay tuned. Catch us every Friday at 1 o'clock. I'm Ronco Johnson. This is When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? I look forward to seeing you next time at the top. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay blessed, stay safe, and be significant to somebody else that you love, care, and you just met. God bless, and I'll see you at the top. See you next time. God bless.